That's my first morning. I kinda don't like the hostel that I'm in, but I'm gonna live out the 2 days just to make sure I get the experience. There's a big cruiser. I think it's big. I mean, it's big relative to the smaller one to its left. I don't know how big it compares to the one I was on in Europe. This is General Don Jose de San Martin. Certainly the most famous historical figure. I'm not sure the United States has anybody like him. We have many who were great, but not one who did it all, really. And important, very important, is for his management, or his admiral of the Armada, Don Hierro, which means William Brown. And Augusto Lacier, who I believe brought the first ship in this far and decided to set up the town of Ushuaia. Like much of Argentina that I've seen, there's evidence of upgrading, refining. This is a walkway, one of the ones that's done with the individual bricks, and hopefully that is a reflection of the growth of the economy here in Ushuaia as well as Argentina at large. The street similarly being built hopefully will inspire development on the right side as well as perhaps legally possible on the left side, and the expansion of the town, which clearly it's going to need. The backdrop of the city, which I'll pan through fairly fast, is probably pretty when the sun's out, and maybe even really dramatic in the spring or the fall when the first snows come or go. You'll notice that these curbs are built in about 10-foot lengths. And I think that probably the nature of their old or antiquated construction techniques has inherent in it the relatively rapid deterioration of them. More cracks, more breaks, that sort of thing. Whatever its history, it'll sit there indefinitely. There are what look like lights on it, so it's designed to be a historical artifact seen particularly nicely at night. It might be an old icebreaker, a fishing vessel, and someday, perhaps when this road's done and this beachfront area or this wharf area is upgraded, they'll have an interpretive sign. Looks like a small marina over there for the reasonably well-heeled of this area. Fairly good sized sloop right here. My guess is that this boat is lying where it's always lain since it first arrived here, and that this whole area has been artificially raised a level, and the boat simply left there as some kind of artifact. You can see the unprofessional finish of the joints. And oftentimes there are places where the cement's gotten knocked off and they've had to patch it by hand. But on the other hand, you have to, I think, look at the perspective that this may be one of the first and few roads with curbs that has been put into Ushuaia. So the technology may be 20, 30, 40 years behind other countries. This just looks like a small dock set up for older boats. Don't know whether they're pleasure or not. There's an old cruise, day cruise boat. If you're into sailing, this is probably pretty good. They probably get some pretty wicked winds down through here, and certainly got a lot of area to sail in. First accident I've seen in Argentina. One could argue that it occurs because there are no stop signs. Nothing that controls traffic except for some rules, some hidden ones, like uphill traffic seems to have an inherent right-of-way, because horizontal traffic will sometimes stop and wait almost in the middle of the intersection. So anyway, it's interesting to watch a tall building be constructed in the same, what seems like not primitive, but certainly a backward, slow, manual way of construction. It's kind of an ugly day in Ushuaia. The town itself is not pretty at all. The big cruise ship that was here left at 4, cutting short their day in Ushuaia. Do a walk around and a purchase of souvenirs, I suspect. But a few people were at the information office trying to find something constructive. These are the day trip boats down Magellan Strait to the various sites there are there. Seal colonies, Estancia. My guess is there are a number of people in Ushuaia on tours who fly in, go around on a bus, go to the special tours down the channel, Beagle Channel, and then fly back out. There's nothing particularly pretty about this city at all that I can see. Things would certainly look more impressive if the sun were out, and probably even more so if there was even more snow on those mountains. I won't waste too much time videoing this since I'll be going down this channel within the week. Several of the companies, including this Tolkien, own the boats here, as well as up in El Calafate for the glacier tours, which is the primary, if not the only reason to be in El Calafate. Buried under this monument is a time capsule to be opened in 2492. It was put in here in 1992, 500 years. That will be interesting.